Welcome to Housing Developments.
I'm Jim Tobin.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
Good to see you this afternoon.
Good to see you, man.
That's right. And special guest.
That's right.
And I'm Alicia Huey.
There we go.
NAHB
Yeah, we'd like to
Chairman.
have the chairman of the board, Alicia Huey. Thanks for joining us on our podcast on housing developments.
I'm excited to be here. You know, I'm in town this couple of days for the leadership orientation along with the EO orientation that's happening downstairs. Just finished a session with the emerging leaders down there with Carl Harris, first vice chairman. It was really exciting. The people in the room where you could just feel the energy and the excitement and the questions that they had, and just really excited to have them here in D.C.
And then you decided to come down and slum with us for a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
So tell us a little bit about the emerging leaders. This is one of the things that has been a real hallmark of your year, is really trying to get those, reaching down to the local and state leadership ladders to get them thinking and learning more about NAHB. So this is the second one. We had one earlier in the spring.
That's right.
Another great crop of attendees, but what's been your experience and your feedback so far?
They're just so excited to be here. I mean, there was a gentleman that stopped me in the hall earlier and just really thanked me for the opportunity. He had no idea all the what was available from NAHB, everything that we did, and that's really what this program is about, so that they can learn. And then this morning, when they had the session with the EOs, the questions that they were asking from different staff members that were participating, and it was really good to see.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because you have EOs from all over the country that are participating. I think about 40 local and state EOs are here. Plus, you have all the leader members, and but from in a lot of ways from different areas of the country, so you can ask them different questions without worrying about whether that's your member or that's your EO. So it's a pretty cool dynamic. So.
And different experiences, right? Like they all feed off of each other because some have been here for like over a year. Other ones are brand new.
Right.
So, there's people like, well, you don't need an orientation. But I think it's a great refresher course. And a great opportunity for NHB to show itself off. But more importantly, as we work together to bind the Federation closer, make sure that we're talking and communicating, this has been a great program.
And for some people, they're here. They've been here for 3 years and they've never been in the building. So like for them, it's like, oh wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's right. I see. It seems life is normal, but we are still in the kind of the post-COVID phase.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
one of the EOs at lunch had been on the job for 3 months, and another one for a year and a half. And she said, "I've been trying to get here to this orientation." She said, "But there's no good time. You just have to schedule it and do it."
That's right.
So message to everyone: just schedule it and do it.
That's right. Just schedule and do it. Yeah, it's a great chance to see the city. It's a great chance to see your fellow EOs and leaders. But it's really great. So that's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about. We'll step away from the NHB ecosystem. Let's talk about the world. No, let's talk about
DC.
Let's talk about DC. So this past weekend, the verge of a government shutdown, another government shutdown.
Yeah.
But we avoided it, or I should say, Speaker McCarthy avoided it. Alicia, taking off your hat as chairman, as a builder, there are a lot of things at stake with that if the government did shut down on Saturday evening, one of which is the National Flood Insurance Program. Being a builder in Birmingham and from Alabama, full well about storms and floods. So tell us why it's a good thing that we didn't see the National Flood Insurance Program shut down.
Well, to think about the impact that could have had, I think I read somewhere that it's 1,300 real estate transactions in a day. That would have affected. And it's not, when you think about flood insurance, a lot of people think about coastal communities, but it's not just that. It's those along streams and lakes and rivers and things like that too. Yeah. So I can't imagine what would have, the world just would have fell apart. I mean, housing is already in a, kind of in a state right now. For that to have happened to housing would have been extremely devastating.
And we shouldn't gloss over it. There was a reason why NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program, was part of this, because a lot of programs weren't part of this, but disaster relief was. And that was a big part because of our efforts and Lake Colston's effort and the government affairs team to actually get that in there. So kudos to them. Yeah,
Lake texted me last night. He was with Steve Scalise, who's the majority leader of the House of Representatives, who said, if I hear one more person call me about flood, now he's from Louisiana, so he gets it, but he said all he did was hear about flood. So kudos to the members in the grassroots for really getting out and not only talk about flood insurance, but just what I had called the unforced error of a government shutdown, especially for housing. We don't need any macro shocks in the marketplace right now. We're dealing with enough of them.
Yeah. NAHB sent out quite a few reminders for us to call and participate. And so I think that was really good. I think that helped just Scalise say, no, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's good.
And Jim wants to gloss over this, but he should have stuck to his guns, because at first he thought no shutdown, and then he went to 3-week shutdown.
Yeah.
And now...
Well, it got pretty dire. Like Friday night,
who'd have thought?
I know. I give Speaker McCarthy a lot of credit for finding a way forward. And and ultimately that we'll see his political future is in peril because of that.
Yeah.
Right.
But we are operating under. We'll talk to that on a future podcast. But we are operating on a 45-day continuing resolution. So we're into November.
Right.
I bet we see one more. I don't think the appropriations process gets resolved. The holidays are always the big backstop here. So my guess is we go right up to the brink again. And but hopefully there's a large bipartisan group of members of Congress that are voting in favor of keeping the government open.
Yep.
That coalition should hold if we have to do this again in 45 days.
And which we will. And
we will have to do it in
the job's
45
not going to
days.
be over,
That's right.
but it is what it is.
That's right.
And they were going to shut down a very hot economy, right? I mean, that's the thing that, and it's, we always talk about
imagine?
like, but it's always bizarre overall. The good news is actually bad news when it comes to housing because new JOLTS data came out, right? And that's the job openings and labor turnover survey.
Yeah,
right?
that's what it says on your computer.
That's what that, I'm trying to read it. The numbers are increasing, right, in terms of the job openings, and people are still hiring, right? I mean, but we're having trouble hiring, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that hot job market, it's kind of hard for us because it looks like the odds are now that the Federal Reserve will increase rates in November to kind of slow down this economy.
Yeah, and mortgage rates are, the bond market, it continues to climb.
4.75.
Right, which means mortgage rates are now getting closer to that high sevens. We start flirting with 8. Now we're starting to really think about some trouble. Alicia, what are you seeing in your local market? What are you hearing from your fellow builders in Birmingham?
I think that we're optimistic, but somewhat cautiously optimistic.
Right.
But I think we say that a lot. But we're still seeing a lot of activity, a lot of people looking, but not really anybody making a move right now. Got houses sitting, but I think the custom people are not offering incentives, but I think some of the larger builders are because they've got more product on the ground.
Sure. Yeah, it makes sense. As we're hearing, I think our survey data shows that there's incentives or people trying to buy down rates, just trying to get people into home ownership. But cautiously optimistic. We did our pod last week. Yeah. We talked about kind of talking to the members when we were out in Palm Springs together. I think cautiously optimistic is exactly the right couple words for it.
And frustration, right? Because you guys see the demand and the customers wanting to come and buy.
Right.
They just can't, right?
Right. Yeah. They don't, they see the interest rates as just horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're really not. We've seen horrible before,
We've seen
right?
horrible. That's right. Yeah. That's, I mean, you have a whole generation that are thinking about 3% and 4% rates, or even 5% rates.
My first rate was 7.25%.
Yeah, mine too. When my wife and I bought our first townhome, I think we paid 7 and something. That was in 2002 we got married. 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
So it seems normal to me.
And you survived.
Look, here we are, right?
Right,
exactly. Yeah. So still a good time to buy a house. That's the message for everybody.
I think that consumers just have to kind of get over that shock.
Right.
Because it's been in the media so much because there's been such a large jump in a short period of time. We've got to get over that shock and let that settle down.
Right. Yeah. It'll resolve itself. I mean, it's going to be a couple bumpy months, but I think it'll get there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now that NFIP is kind of in our rearview mirror, sort of.
For 45 days.
For 45 days plus. We here at NHB, we're focusing on Job Corps.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that we've talked about before.
Right.
I don't know, Jim, if you want to give a little bit of an update.
We're still, and Alicia's been knee deep in this because Bob Adderholt, a member of the Alabama congressional delegation, someone actually the chairman of the Labor and Health and Human Services Appropriations Bill, and has a Job Corps center in his district. So he's been leading the charge for the bill that actually, guts isn't even the right word. Guts implies there's something left. Essentially eliminates funding for the Job Corps program, $1.7 billion, of which the Home Builders Institute they get about $30 million a year. They're the largest Job Corps contractor. Just talk about labor in your area and how important having a pipeline of labor and how important that Job Corps program is.
It is. First of all, it's extremely embarrassing that Robert Adderholt is from Alabama and we're having to deal with this from his perspective. But for my colleagues and that I've talked to around the country, it's those real specialty trades, the electricians, the plumbers that are so hard to find.
Right.
They are just swamped, and there's just not enough, not enough of them to go around in more business than they can handle. So it is delaying production. Housing construction takes longer, and it is really difficult. Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
Well, we're launching a big campaign. The House is going to do what it's going to do over the next little while. They're going to try to put that bill on the floor.
Yeah.
we're going to do everything we can to remind them that they don't have the votes for it, that there just isn't support because of those Job Corps cuts. Good news is our friends in the Senate, they have an appropriations bill that has a fully funded Job Corps program in it. So we're going to look at the Senate to do what it does, is kind of be the elder statesman in the room, the voice of sanity, and actually we're going to work hard to, when they reconcile those House and Senate packages, to get them to acquiesce, the House to acquiesce to the Senate, put that fully funded money in there. So, we're working hard, and so all our members out there that know the value of Job Corps, but know the value of good skilled labor, we'll be working those members of Congress hard.
Absolutely. I mean, we've already started with the Home Builders Institute a campaign to try and make sure that those members of Congress know for a fact that it's important.
Right.
So we're not sitting on our laurels by any means.
That's right.
So the next 20 days or so will be interesting ones as it kind of goes through the process and
the House wants to pass all of its 12 appropriations bills to put them on record in negotiations with the Senate. And they're struggling to even do that. So, they're not going to get any Democratic votes. So the House has to do it all. They can only lose 5 votes. So we're going to make it difficult because this is such an important program at a time that we need more workforce. You need more skilled labor in an industry that needs it more than anybody else.
100%.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Alicia, it was kind of cool. You want to do this every week with us?
This has been kind of fun.
Yeah.
I've seen this for the podcast, and now I'm here, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Really
It
nice.
is nice.
Yeah.
It
Thanks
is
for
nice.
having me
Thanks.
join y'all.
Yeah.
But before we go, IBS, you got to put a plug in for IBS.
Yes.
Early bird registration extended for a couple more weeks.
And let's be clear, we're meeting the International Builder Show, not a plug for
Oh
RBS.
yeah, no, that's right. That's right. No, the International Builder Show.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the show, right? What are you hearing? What's your plans? It's going to be great.
Well, coming off Palm Springs and the excitement and the energy that was there in that meeting, I can only imagine what the International Builder Show is going to be in Las Vegas. And the Jeff Cassidy and his team has done a fabulous job of selling IBS.
Yep.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be wonderful.
Right.
A lot of educational opportunities. As I tell people, if you even think there's a chance that you might go sign up for that Expo Pass, and I really think that once you see more about what's happening at IBS, you're going to make plans to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna. If you're building in America, this is where you need to be.
Yep.
And now's the time to do it because early bird specials, you get a great discount.
Yeah, just a couple more weeks, right?
And the opening ceremonies is
Yes.
Matt Franco.
Matt Franco, awesome.
And then closing ceremony concert is Cole Swindell.
Cole Swindell.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a great lineup. It's going to be a great week in Vegas.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out there. I love Las Vegas, but I'm looking forward to seeing all the builders out there. It's going to be great.
100%.
Yeah.
And since we haven't done this in a while, let's thank Reagan Hansford, the producer.
There she is.
Yes,
Producer
Reagan.
Reagan. Hi, Reagan.
And Jeff Bankert and his team.
Jeff Bankert.
Jeff,
He's
yeah.
giving us a
NHB
wave.
production.
There he is.
go.
That's perfect. Yeah.
So thank you guys. We couldn't do this without
That's
you.
right.
So
That's right.
truly appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Think that wraps it up.
I think that wraps it up. Yeah. Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Fun
Until
to be
next
here.
time, I'm Jim Tobin.
I'm Paul Lopez.
Alicia Huey.
Bye.
Bye.